How to child-proof your balcony and deck safely. If you have children below the age of 5 years in your house, you know how alert and careful you have to be. You have to ensure that your house is safe for your child, and you need to child-proof certain equipment and furniture so that your kid doesn't harm himself. I have a 3-year-old niece and she is very naughty. She is running around the house all the time and seldom rests in one place. In such situations, there are chances of my niece hurting herself if there are sharp objects or treacherous surfaces at home. So proper steps have to be taken to ensure that she doesn't hurt herself. One place where a toddler stands the risk of hurting himself is in the balcony of the house. If you live in a multi-storied building or your child's room is on a story above the ground, you know what I am talking about. A child over the age of 5 years can be tempted to climb over the parapet of the balcony. And more often than not, if the obstacles are not challenging enough, he can very well succeed in climbing over the railing. So it becomes essential to childproof your balcony. Childproofing your balcony. 1. Safeguarding the railings. Design the balcony by replacing with a transparent screen. You can either use a transparent sheet of tough acrylic plastic, i.e. plexiglass, that is durable and can withstand high stress. The more tough the sheet, the better it is. Just make sure that the plexiglass is completely transparent so that the view and aestheticism of the deck are not lost. If the railing cannot be replaced with a plexiglass sheet for aestheticism or whatever your reason, you can use a hard mesh made of steel or aluminium. A netting made of fabric can also be used, but avoid. Because as the child gets older, curiosity can make him try to cut or damage the netting. 2. Replacing wide gap rails with narrow gap rails. The grille or the railings on most of the balconies have a wide gap between each vertical railing. This poses a risk of your child falling through the railing if he is thin. One way to prevent this is by using netting or plexiglass. If you do not want to lose the look of the rails by replacing with plexiglass or netting, there's a solution. Replace the wide gap railings with railings having a narrow gap between them. You can get them in the market and with the help of a professional install them in lieu of the wide gap railings. 3. Avoid the use of horizontal railings. Many designer homes in high-storied buildings have balconies fitted with horizontal railings. The main reason to use horizontal railings is that it is a more aesthetically pleasing design. But the risks that come with horizontal railings are twofold. At a young age, children are not much aware of the dangers of falling from a height. And the toddler's brain is very experimental. This is why you have to be extra careful to ensure the right protection. The first disadvantage of horizontal railings is that the child can slip in between the railings, since horizontally the length of the railings doesn't pose any restrictions. This can prove to be fatal. Another very big disadvantage of horizontal railings, which I consider to be a big one, is that the child can use the horizontal railings as steps to climb over the parapet of the balcony or deck. So even if you reduce the gap between the horizontal railings or the grille, the danger will still persist. Your toddler might not be able to slip in between the railings, but that won't stop him from climbing up the railings to reach the top of the parapet. Hence it is a better idea to use vertical railings with less gap between them in place of horizontal railings. 4. Ensure the proper height of the railing. What's the point of securing the railings of your balcony and deck when your toddler can simply climb over them? The International Residence Code (IRC) requires that balcony railings should be at least 36 inches high for residential homes. This is the minimum height to be maintained, as children below the age of 5 are still below 36 feet. For an extra precaution, it is a good idea to increase the height of the railings beyond 36 feet. This will prevent toddlers as well as small kids from climbing to the top of the railings. 5. Use anti-gravity strips. So while doing my research for the best ways to child-proof your balcony, I came across this great concept of anti-gravity strips. Anti-gravity strips are flat plastic strips with a prickly texture that fit perfectly on the top of a railing using glue or ties. Being transparent, they do not cause many changes in the looks of the railing. The prickly texture of the anti-gravity strips is to ensure that your child does not take the support of the top of the railing to try climbing up. You can prevent any attempts by your child to climb over the balcony railing. 6. Be vigilant. Finally, the best way to ensure the safety of your child in the balcony or deck is to be a vigilant parent. The modifications in the structure and the safety devices can make it virtually impossible for your child to climb over the balcony. It is, however, your duty first and foremost to ensure that if your child is below the age of 5 years, you must take adequate steps to ensure that he is not left with a chance to experiment much. You also need to be extra vigilant in case you're visiting someone's home or are renting a hotel room. You won't have the safeguards on the balcony that you have at home. Hence it is a good idea to restrict access completely. Which material is the safest for the railings? When the question rises about the material safest for the railings of the deck, there are a few things you should keep in mind. 1. The material should be able to withstand the wear and tear over a period of time. This is so that the railings can last for a longer period. 2. The material should be tough and be able to withstand great force. More specifically, it should be able to withstand the weight of a 6-year-old kid leaning against it. 3. It should be reasonable in price and not cost a bomb. Considering all these factors for the selection of railings, the best material to go for is metal. Especially metal with anti-rust properties. This will make it last for a long period of time, giving it adequate strength and durability to withstand rough weather conditions and force. So these were some practical steps you can take to make your balcony or deck childproof and safe for your children. Do you have any more ideas that you'd like to share? Do let us know in the comments. If you liked this video, do leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more on home safety and security.